Good evening, friends and crafters. Welcome to Funfold Friday. I'm Dorene Decibus from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and I'm really glad to have you joining me tonight. Whether you're joining me live or on the replay or on my YouTube channel. So thank you for joining me. Tonight, we are going to be having our last kind of celebration of celebration. Celebration ends next Tuesday, so I wanted to use one more stamp set to, one more of the product so that you could see it, and if you were wanting it, you could order it between now and next Tuesday. So I am going to be sharing with you tonight the Beautifully Happy stamp set. This is a photopolymer stamp set, and it has some of my favorite features in this stamp set. First of all, it's a two-step stamping set, and I love two-step stamps. I love being able to stamp and then use another stamp to color in the image. So it's one of my favorite types of stamping to do. Second, one of my favorite types of stamps is the distinctive ink stamps. And this stamp set has regular line stamps, and then the stamps that you use to fill in all of the different floral images and leaf images are distinctive ink. And what that means is when a stamp is distinctive, you can kind of see it in the picture here. You can see the different tones and features of the stamp. There will be shadows, and where some looks less stamped than other, it gives a really nice watercolor effect to your stamped images. So that's what we're going to be using tonight. Another product that we're using tonight is the Textured Chic, it's Friday, Textured Chic 12 by 12 designer series paper. And this is from the main catalog, the annual catalog. And this paper, this is the sheet we're going to be using. So I've already cut it down, and it's actually my last sheet of this particular color in the package. So that's why you're seeing a partial sheet. But you've got these beautiful print that shows lots of texture in the background, and then you've got some embossed gold on top of it. So this is the soft succulent piece, and on the back side it has some soft succulent and some evening evergreen. This piece is petal pink, and let me just get some light a little bit there, that's better. Petal pink with gold dots that just are kind of scattered all over the top of it. And then the back side has some pink and some, it looks like crumb cake seashells on the back of it. This piece has the soft succulent again, and it also has some petal pink in it, some mango melody. So it's kind of combination of all of the colors except for the evening evergreen, and then has the gold embossed design on the top of it. So it's really a pretty piece. And then on the back side, we have some of those same colors. There's some leaf imprints on the back, and then just some patches of color here and there. This piece is our evening evergreen color piece of designer series paper, again with that gold beautiful embossing that looks distressed. And then on the back you have the soft succulent and the evening evergreen, and then some white showing snowflakes. Kind of perfect for this time of the year. And here we have a piece of the petal pink with some of the gold. It looks like it's been distressed. A little bit of mango melody popping through. And then on the other side, we have the soft succulent petal pink, some white, and little traces of the evening evergreen. Just a really pretty pattern. And then finally, this piece has a lot of mango melody, a little bit of petal pink, and that distressed gold again. And then on the back side, just some really almost like impressionist flowers, and in petal pink and soft succulent and mango melody. So it's really a pretty abstract piece. So that's the card we're using, the designer series paper that we're using tonight. Now, let's talk about the sizes of our cardstock. So I'm going to start with my biggest piece, and it is actually 10 inches by 4¼ inches, and we're going to be scoring this. And remember, after the live, I will be putting down in the comments the measurements of all the paper and the scoring measurements as well, so that you can remake this style of card. So we have that piece. Then we have a lot of different layers of this soft succulent cardstock. We also have a piece that is 5½ by 4¼ so a quarter piece of paper. This is going to be our base of our card. And then we have a piece that is 4¾ by 4¼ and then finally we have a smaller piece that is 3½ by 3 inches. So that's our soft succulent. Now for our designer series paper. Our first piece, well, first let me go with these strips. We have 3 different sizes of strips, and we have some that we need 2 of, some that we only need 1 of. So our first strip is 1½ let me make sure this is the right one. No, this is 1 inch by 4 inch. So we have the 1 inch by 4 inch. We have the 1½ inch by 4 inch. And then we have just a little bit smaller. We have the 1¼ inch by 4 inches. So we have those 3 pieces of paper. And then finally, we need some Whisper White. Not Whisper White, basic white cardstock. And we need 2 different sizes. We need one that is 3¼ by 4. And then our second piece that we're going to be doing a lot of stamping on, we need at 3¼ by 2¾ So that's the material that we need tonight. So I'm going to start with the stamping and get that out of the way. And then all we have to be concerned with is putting the card together. So let me just move some of this out of the way, and we'll put our basic white up here. This piece I could stamp my greeting, but I'm going to actually leave this blank so I have a place to write in the card. So I'm just going to set that aside. And on this piece, I am going to be stamping my images. And I am going to start with the really large floral image. And I'm going to tell you that I've had a little bit of an issue with this stamp. This is the only one, first time ever I've had an issue with a stamp from Stampin' Up. But there's a little part of it that's not stamping right. But because of the style of this stamp set, and I haven't received my replacement yet from Stampin' Up, but because of the style of this stamp set, I decided to just carry on, because once I stamp the inside of the flowers, you won't even notice that there was a little problem. So I'm going to start by inking this up. So I'm using my Memento black ink, and I'm just going to make sure everything is inked well. And I'm going to stamp this right on the side of this card. So I just want to make sure I'm getting this in. And there's my image. I know you'll be able to see that stripe going through, but we're going to fix it, I promise. I am also going to stamp one of the smaller flowers in this same color. And just have it right there. Put that stamp aside. And then I am also going to stamp with the black ink a little thank you right up in the corner of the card, of the front piece. So there we go. That is all of the stamping in Memento ink that I need to do. Now I'm going to start doing some of my two-step stamping. So I'm going to start with the leaves. And I am going to be using the soft succulent ink. So let me just get that. And I'm going to ink this up. And you can tell it's distinctive because as soon as you ink it up, you're able to see the different textures and amount of color that's in the stamp. So that is going to make everything look just fabulous. So I'm going to line this up. Just move my ink pad. When we have two-step stamping and you have your clear stamps, makes it just a little bit easier to stamp those images. So that's all we need there. And I am also, let's see, am I going to use, nope, that's it. So that's for the leaves. Then I am going to take, I'm using kind of from the same color palette tonight. So I'm using the In Colors that were released a year ago, but are going to be retired at the end of this year. So I'm using the soft succulent and I'm using the fresh freesia, and they just coordinate so well. So now I'm going to ink up the floral piece that's going to go right into the center. So I'm just going to line this up so that everything matches. There we go. Transfer that ink, and look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You can see the gorgeous fresh freesia and that distinctive ink where once I've inked it up, we have the different layers of color. So pretty. All right, so that is done. I'm still going to need my fresh freesia ink to do the center of this flower here. So let me get that out and ink that. Beautiful. See how easy it just lines up so beautifully. I really like that about it. So we're done with the fresh freesia ink. And now I'm going to take the mint macaron and I'm going to be stamping some of the other greenery. And I am going to actually stamp off a little bit because I don't want it as dark. So just a light tap. And then I'm going to line this up. And you can see that we've added all of the greenery that's to go right there. And then I am going to add the greenery that goes down below. Let me just find, it's right here. And we'll do the same thing. Stamp off just a little bit. And line it up. There we go. And I am going to stamp one more thing in the Memento Black that I forgot to stamp. And this set has a little bumblebee. You know, like I said, it has everything, which is pretty cool. So this little guy is going to go right, like he's flying over the flower, ready to pollinate. And now I'm just going to do the center of my flowers in the Daffodil Delight. And so I have two different centers to use. One is just a circle that will go right in the center of that flower. The other one is more like a piston. So I'm going to take care of that. There we go. get a little bit of yellow there. And then what I'm going to do with my circle is I'm going to add, if I do this twice, it's going to fit right into the bee. So I can color the inside of the bee. And there we go. Our coloring is done. So let me just show that to you. Not pretty, just the colors are so vibrant. All right, now we're ready to put our card together. I just get the ink pads out of the way, the stamps out of the way, and I'm going to just set that image aside. Okay, so I am going to start with my largest, out of the 3 smaller pieces, the larger piece. And what I'm going to be doing is I am going to place the tabs, the small ones, these little pieces. I'm going to be placing these right on both ends of this piece of cardstock. So let me just move some things around and get my adhesive. You could use the green glue on this. You could use our Stampin' Seal like I'm using here. Whichever you would like to use, that's up to you. So I am just going to get this right centered on that side, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side. There we go. That piece is done for right now. This piece here is going to have our stamped image. So I can add that, and that will be going to the front of the card. There we go. So that's going to go aside. And now I'm going to do some, well, let me just finish putting the last piece. This piece is going to go right onto this piece of the other piece. And we can't put the other 2 on until we do our scoring, or other 3 pieces on. So I'm going to set those aside. I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to take this piece and put it right on to this piece of cardstock, set it aside. Now we're ready to do our scoring. Again, I will have these score measurements in the comments on my Facebook page, this page, and I will have it in the description on my YouTube channel. So I am going to start by scoring at 1.5. So this is my Score Pal kind of tool. So I've got it at 1.5. Then the next score is going to go at 3.25. And I'm going to then score at 6 3/4. And then at 8.5. I could use my paper cutter. That would be fine. But I really like using my scoring tool because I can just go right along and do it at once without having to move it through. So let's get that out of the way. The way you're going to fold this is I'm going to fold in, and I'm going to use my bone folder. So I'm folding in, and then this piece I'm folding back out. So it's going to stand like this. So again, I'm going to fold this side in, and I'm going to fold this side. Whoops. Let me just get this over here. So when I'm done, I have kind of like a gatefold. Your pieces are going to come together in the center, and it's going to open up like this. So you can see it's going to stand when it's standing open like this. So this is my mechanism for putting this whole thing together. So for this, I am going to be putting my larger pieces are going to go on the inside here. So let's put those in right now. So if you're watching tonight, make sure you say hello in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. I would love it if you shared my video, and I would love it if you checked out my YouTube page. It begins with ink and paper, and like that as well. All right, so I have those two right there. This one is not going to get any additional designer series paper because things are going to hook to this, but this piece will get one right here. So we're getting everything together pretty quickly. All right, so this is it closed. Remember I said we're going to be attaching this piece here. So next I want to do this piece. So I'm going to close that, and I am going to be adding my adhesive to the back. There we go. And this is going to be centered right on this piece of cardstock. So it is actually going to fit top to bottom. So I want these to go right to the edge of the designer series paper, and then go top to bottom on the card. So now you can see where we've got our designer series paper, and we open it up. On the inside, we're going to take that piece of basic white. You could, if you wanted, to stamp something on this, but it's also a place for you to be able to write your message or greeting, whatever type of card you're going to make this. Okay, we're going to close that. Now, this is going to go over this piece, and it's going to be centered like this. So I don't want to put any adhesive on the back of this because it would be too much guesswork. So I'm going to put the adhesive on this piece here. So the adhesive goes right on this blank side with doesn't have any designer series paper on it. I'm going to close that little gatefold, and then this is going to go on centered. And it, again, is going to fit at the top and the bottom. There we go. So it's going to open up like this, so you can see how it's going to stand really nicely when you have, when your recipient gets this. So now to finish this, so I'm going to close that back. So we've got a nice kind of, and this is going to go right on the front. And I'm going to put it with some dimensionals. So let's get those dimensionals on. And this is a beautiful fun fold. It looks like it has taken a long time to make, and you've seen how easy it is with to put this together. As I said, I'm focusing on soft succulent and fresh freesia, because those are colors that are going to be retiring. I'm also using the beautifully, let me just say it right so I don't mess up the stamp set. I'm using the Beautifully Happy stamp set. And one more to get off. There we go. I'm going to center this on. So pretty. And then I think I'm going to add just a little ribbon to, what should I add? Some ribbon, some little, oh goodness, this is just too good to be true. So I think what I am going to add are some gold. I have a couple of, I've got some gold sequins. So let me just grab these and just use my scissors to get them off. I think I am going to put one right here. one right here. We'll go corner to corner, and then we'll put one just above the B. And that is our card for tonight. So thank you for joining me for Fun Fold Friday. Again, this is how it will stand when your recipient receives the card. I hope you enjoyed this fun fold. I am on vacation next week for my school break, so I'm looking forward to a nice relaxing time. But I'm also having surgery next week, so I will have a Fun Fold Friday video. I'm going to actually make it tomorrow and pre-record it and have it scheduled for next week. So please still join me and watch the video, and then I will be live again the first Friday in March. Well, actually, it's the second Friday in March. Sorry about that. So I'll be live again then. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's card as much as I did making it. And I look forward to seeing you next week and in further weeks for Fun Fold Friday. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.